Hello. So how are we all doing? Got a few people in the chat, have we? Yeah, okay, cool. How's lockdown? Are you all climbing the walls yet? Snapping at loved ones? Going slightly mad? Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, let me apologise for my my look. As you can see, I've had to buzz my hair off, and it's because there's no barbers open, so I just had to buzz it all off. So I'm going for the mountain man look at the moment. So that's all good. Dave's in the chat, says good evening, good evening, good evening, mate. Okay, good stuff. I'll just let a few people get in before we kick off properly. So how's everyone faring up under the lockdown? In fact, I don't even know if most of you are in a lockdown. I know that the UK is. I know that America's still locked down. I know there's a couple of European countries that are. Hello, my bro. Says common sense. Thank you. Hello, mate. Yeah, I know there's a couple of. I think one of the Scandinavian countries are doing a herd immunisation type thing. I don't think they're locked down. I might be wrong on that though. But yeah, I think for the most part that people are just. Here we go. NYC still on full lockdown. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sweet. Okay, I think we can go ahead now. Okay, one thing before I begin actually, and give you an update with what's going on with me and the website and stuff. I'm going to be doing a Rhizome UV giveaway this stream. So what I need you to do is, if you want a copy of Rhizome UV, there's going to be one copy given out. You can either email me at sam@digitalmeet.uk, or you can go to the contact page at digitalmeet.uk and just send me an email with the subject line being Rhizome UV, and the body of the text can be whatever you like. I don't know, something like "please give me it," something like that. And then at the end of the stream, I will pick one of those emails at random and pick a winner. You might be thinking, why are you doing it via email and not just asking someone to, say in the chat or maybe a comment or something? And it's because the last stream that I did that, I gave away a Prime membership on my website, and and after the stream, I went to his channel, messaged him. I was leaving comments on his videos, never got back to me. So at least if we do it by email, I've got you. Do you know what I mean? I've got your email address, so I can get hold of you. So yeah, we'll be doing a Rhizome UV giveaway. I'll remind people again, because they might join the stream halfway through. So maybe halfway through, I'll reiterate that we're doing a Rhizome UV giveaway. For those of you that don't win, which is going to be, I've only got one license to give away this stream, but we've got 20% off Rhizome UV as well. So if you go to Rhizome UV and use the code DigitalMeet, I believe it's digital space meet, you will get 20% off of Rhizome UV. So there we go. Good stuff. Okay. Right, what's next on my agenda? Sorry, I've got some notes here. This is a bit haphazard, but you know. Yeah, this lockdown's actually doing my head in a little bit now, because funnily enough, I was actually not self-isolating, but about 3 weeks before we started the lockdown in the UK, I was staying indoors anyway. I had some work on. I had enough food in the house, and I was doing that tunnel vision thing. So I already hadn't left my flat for about 3 weeks before the lockdown, and then it kicked in. So, getting a little bit of cabin fever now, climbing the walls a little bit, and the weather's getting better as well, and I just want to get out there on my motorbike. to be honest. So yeah, so it's doing my head in a little bit. Okay, so let's deal with the update stuff first. The website, you may have noticed that digitalmeet.uk has been up and down quite often. It's either in maintenance mode and then back on and then back in maintenance mode again. And that's because I've made some changes and I migrated servers as well. So I moved my website to a new server. It is now stored on nice, fast SSD drives. So that's good. And, you know, the usual stuff, unlimited bandwidth and blah, 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 and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's back up now. Migrated servers, it's all in place. Great. And it all went swimmingly, actually, which I was quite surprised about. I thought there'd have been some problem, like I wrecked my database or something like that, but actually it went all right. Vitus says, don't have the bandwidth to have this and Rocket Lasso at the same time. I actually noticed that Rocket Lasso was streaming just before I started streaming, and I was like, damn it. I could have timed that better, but, you know, good stuff. Common Sense says Sweden. Yeah, that is the place that I was thinking of that might have, that weren't doing a lockdown. They were trying a different approach. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, the website's been migrated now and it's all done. I also made some changes to my back end. I've had some emails from people asking about payment gateways because my store initially only, I think I had PayPal set up as a payment gateway, and that was it pretty much. And people, I had a few emails saying, oh, I don't want to use PayPal, or I live in a country that doesn't use PayPal or something like that. So now I've added the ability to use debit and credit card on there, so we've got another payment gateway. What's also nice is where it used to, when you went to check out, it would actually redirect you away from my website onto PayPal's website, and you pay there, and then it would send you back again. That's no longer the case. It doesn't take you off my site anymore. It opens an applet and you check out while you're still on my page, which is great. And that's also true of the credit card and debit card method as well. It's all on site and it's all encrypted and secure, so that's good. Of course it would be. I mean, you know. I made some changes to the donation page as well. All right, so let me just I think I can share my screen. There we go. Okay, so this is the website. I made I did something similar to the donation page as well. I had people saying I'd like to support you and chuck you a coin or whatever, but I don't want to use PayPal. I can't do it. I don't actually. The main one was because I was using Patreon before, and it was actually surprising the amount of people that said I don't like the platform and I don't want to use it. I think they had some controversy a year ago or something like that. So I've made it easier now. So now you can do it by card, and it does it via this applet, or you can do it by PayPal, and or I've kept Patreon as an option because some people like it. So yeah, there's that option as well. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so you're not just limited to Patreon anymore. You can donate via card or PayPal. Oh, you can also choose whether you want to do a one-time donation or a monthly one as well. And I've also going to start including my supporters on the end of my videos. Biohazard Studio says hi, so does Taran Singh. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right and I'm not murdering it. So yeah, I'm going to start including my supporters at the end of my videos as well, so as the do a supporter role at the end of my videos, because it's a nice way of saying thank you, and I really do appreciate it. It's really cool. Okay, so what's next on my list of stuff to get through? Oh yeah, I've tweaked the comments as well on on the website because it was doing something rather stupid, in my opinion, anyway. So let's just pick a. I think this one's got some comments on it. Yeah, I've tweeted the comments here because what it was doing was someone would post a comment and then the reply would be inset, and then the reply to that would be then inset again, and then by the time you got down here, you had stupidly small sort of columns of comments, and it was ridiculous. So I fixed that. I clocked that, and so now it just insets the first reply and then does all this. So yeah, if anyone was noticing weird behaviour in the comments, I'll give that a kick in the arse, and it's all you know, it should all be working fine now. So that's good. What else have we got? I now have an Instagram account. I finally gave into this because I avoided social media in general to a certain degree. But yeah, I've got an Instagram account now, and it's just a nice place for me to put little loops and stuff like that, and I can still, you know, when I post there, I can actually share it to Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's quite handy really to have a place where I can put little loops that are hosted, and I might even look at embedding them in the website at some point, but we'll look at that later. So yeah, Instagram account. I think that's pretty much it for the website, and then any changes that I've made to it, and you know, updated payment gateways and all of that. So yeah, I think we can move on and talk about C4D S22 D3D74, nice name. Says it's possible create a bridge plugin for S22 question mark. I think he's asking if it's possible to create a bridge plugin for S22. I think it's possible. I'm guessing that the new bridge doesn't work with S22. I've not tried it yet, and we'll get onto that in a minute because I won't be able to try it yet. And we'll talk about that when we talk about S22. But Unknown AB says, hey buddy, could you please teach C4D to Taran Bai on an urgent basis? Yeah, I mean, if he wants one-to-one tuition, I actually do that. So yeah, email me. Bro, you lost mad weight, looking fit as hell. Hey baby. I actually have lost a bit of weight, and I don't know why. Let's hope I'm not dying. Yeah. I was going to ask, can everyone hear me okay? Because I've actually added a filter to my mic, which is a noise gate. And I just want to make sure that it's not cropping any of my sentences off at the beginning or end or anything like that. So if you could let me know in the chat, that would be super helpful. Sorry, this is a little bit all over the place. Common sense says less pints. I don't actually drink that much. I did most of that in my 20s and early 30s. But yeah, loud and clear. The mic levels are good. Yes, you sound awesome. Thank you very much for letting me know. I'm not too loud, am I? Because it looks like my levels are topping out slightly. Maybe I can bring that down a little bit. Or maybe I should stop shouting. It's because of these noise cancelling earphones. I can't hear myself speaking, so I end up going, yeah. So, okay, cool. All right, S22. Who in 22? Have we got quite a lot of people with S22? How many of you are still on MSAs that maybe that you renewed last year? You know, maybe June, July last year, and you're still on your MSAs. It cut out for a second or two when you were telling about trying to contact the last winner of the last stream prize. No audio issues since then. Okay, cool. Random stupid question. Why S22 instead of R22? It's because S22 isn't actually a full release as far as I understand it. It's more like a halfway house. They're halfway through the year. They've managed to implement some of the features that are going to be in R22, but not all of them. But the ones that have been finished, they've decided to release as a release called S22 to say, here, have a look at these. As far as I understand it, I in no way represent Maxon or work for them in any way. So that's what I've guessed from, you know, the information I've looked at. S22, surprise 22, says Daniel. Yeah. A lot of people saying I'm still on R20. I'm still on R20. My MSA expired at end of March. Okay. S22 beta tester. Okay. So are you going for the subscription then, Davo? Is that something you're going to be looking at? I've got a few people saying they're still on R20. I wonder why that is. Did you not think R21 was a decent enough upgrade to go for it? I think I just had a subscriber or something. Sorry, I should be looking at my events and alerts there. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention at the start of the stream actually. Super chats are turned on, and I've also got the link to the Streamlabs. So if you want to support the stream, you can do it one or two ways. Yeah, I should have said that. Avo, no way. I'm gathering you're saying no way to signing up for the subscription. Is that what you're saying no way to? There's a bit of lag, so yeah. I'm R21 and love it. Staying perpetual as long as it's available. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, mate, and we're going to get into that in a minute, but I think I've been subscribed since January, says Common Sense Made Simple. How are you finding it? Are you liking it? What do you think? Daniel, not at all. I simply don't use C4D enough to justify it at the moment. I plan to subscribe ASAP. Well, I mean, I'm in two camps really. I don't really know what to do. It's funny because this is the first stream I've done since the last one, in which we talked about the last stream that I did was when the announcement was made that there would be switching to a subscription service, and during that stream it was all still quite fresh, and I was trying to be optimistic about it. And, you know, I was pointing out the good points about it, and I was pointing out the not so good points about it. And I was kind of in two camps, and I'm pretty much still there as well. But I think what we should do first is go into the actual features of S22 and talk about them first. And then we can talk about the implications of the subscription model, if you'd like. Biohazard Studio says, I saved up to 4 years just to pay the $4,000 perpetual license after switching from 3DS Max. I refuse to join subscriptions plus plugins have been helping me stay afloat even during S22. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying there. This is kind of where I'm coming from a little bit as well. S22 has been crashing with my X particles quite a bit. Other than that, a few minor bugs. Yeah, again, I don't think this is a full release. I think this is kind of like a little taster of what's to come in September for R22. I should imagine they'll call it R22 still in September. I'm guessing September. They never say when, but it's usually around September time. So I think this isn't a full release. So there's probably going to be some bits and bobs in there that aren't quite ironed out yet. And when it does arrive in September, hopefully those bugs will be squashed. In fact, I know someone I know, John Dickinson, has been having some issues over the last few days. He was tweeting about it. If you don't know who John Dickinson is, he is formerly of MotionWorks, and he created Making It Look Great 11. If you don't know what that is, go check it out. It's probably one of the best hard surface modeling tutorial series course that I've ever seen. So you should probably go grab that if you're new to modeling or new to hard surface modeling. But yeah, definitely check that out, and go follow John on Twitter as well. Just search for John Dickinson even. I think his Twitter address is @MotionWorks actually. So yeah, go follow him. Let's have a look at the chat again. I know we're on the C4D thread here, so apologies for off topic, but you promised some Houdini tuts. How are those coming along? I've got a list as long as my arm, and I'm trying to tick it off as fast as I can. And unfortunately, my list gets longer. I tick three things off and put 6 things on, so I will get there. And believe me, they are coming. I've got a tutorial coming tomorrow, actually, where I'm going to be talking about a magic door effect in C4D. And then after that, I'm going to start putting out a bunch of videos about, well, I'm going to do a few more videos about free Cinema 4D plugins that I've found along the way. And I'll make sure those plugins work with the latest release. Well, not S22, because I haven't got it. And again, I want to talk about this in a minute. But yeah, I'll make sure they're compatible with R21. And I'll also be making videos about HDAs that I found on my travels as well. That's Houdini digital assets that we can drag into C4D. So I might even set up a category on the website that dedicated to HDAs as well. Me and Taran are your recent subscribers. We are friends. Thank you very much, mate. That's much appreciated. I've got my stream screen up now so I can actually see the alerts. So sorry I missed that earlier. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Trance Emerson, don't read my comment. Okay. Digital Deet. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you did there. Very clever. Yeah. Okay. So let's go grab. I covered everything I wanted to say about the website. So let's talk some C4D, shall we? Now, a lot of people. Let's get up their page and have a look at that. Okay, so this is the page. So this is the big thing in at least this update. A lot of people said this update S22 is a bit thin on the ground. We got some UV updates. We got some viewport updates as well. Now you might be thinking, looking at that, it's a crappy picture of a cat, but that's actually viewport view of a cat, and obviously it's showing that the viewport can handle all these hairs, so fill hairs, which it hadn't done previously, so that's cool. We got some better export options when it comes to GLTF and this Gosbridge for ZBrush and all that kind of stuff. So I think this is used for sort of web, and I think that's the format you export to if you want to do augmented reality as well. So, you know, in your iPhone apps that deal with AR and all that kind of stuff. Zegra says, let's go. I'm trying. So there's that. We've got some other enhancements. Personally, the most exciting bit of this thing for me, and hopefully I'll be seeing these in R22 later in the year, is the modeling tool improvements, because you know it's all very well putting flashy features and stuff, but I really do appreciate when you keep the program stable, you're doing housekeeping, and you're making sure the tools are as good as they can be, because that's, you know, for a lot of us, that's where the bread and butter is. You know, when you're modeling, if you can make it more efficient and all that kind of thing. So any improvements to the modeling tools are welcome, very, very welcome. You've got some animation stuff as well. You can now copy and paste animation tracks, select splines more easily, so that's all good, and that's pretty much it. We've got an overview video, we might have a look at that in a bit. So yeah, I can understand why people are saying it's thin on the ground a little bit, but again, it's not a full release. This is like a sort of halfway through the year sneak peek, you know. Now let's talk UV tools. Now this is something that I've been banging on for quite a while now. C4D tools, UV tools at least, just wasn't up to scratch in my opinion, especially when you were looking at the competition. Stuff like Maya, well, you know, pretty much any other 3D program really. I'm just going to take a sip of coffee. They were extremely lacking in my humble opinion, and they've made some steps to rectify this, and that is reflected in S22. So they've made some major steps in that. I personally feel that these improvements that they've made should have been in Cinema 4D a long time ago. So it's not exactly like I'm whooping and cheering at the fact that they've now got usable, workable UV tools in Cinema 4D, but it's definitely a welcome addition. And even though it might not do everything that you might want it to do, it's a step in the right direction, and hopefully they'll keep developing that. I myself, personally, I am going to be sticking with my UV unwrapper of choice, as if you couldn't have guessed, which is Rhizome UV. They've been very nice and actually give me a license to give away and 20% off to my viewers as well. So, and it pretty much does everything that I need it to do. And it doesn't feel like it takes me away from Cinema 4D as well. I'm sure we've all had the experience of when you've got to go outside of your 3D program, it might be a bit of a rigmarole. It might be a bit of a pain in the arse to go, right, I've got to export it to an FBX and put it in a folder somewhere, then open the program, import it in, make my changes, go back out and then grab it and put it back in Cinema 4D. There's none of that. There's none of that because I've got the Rhizome UV bridge, and basically you select your object, you hit the bridge button, Rhizome UV automatically opens up and there's your model. You do whatever you need to do with it, really intuitive UI. It's a bit scary when you first open it, I'll be honest. Rhizome UV, you've got lots of options. You're like, oh shit. But once you sort of go, oh, this does that, and they've put everything in groups of stuff as well in the palette, in the panels. So you go, okay, all of this deals with seams. All of this bit deals with packing. This bit deals with groups. So they've actually segmented it really well, so you can compartmentalize it in your brain. It's not too overwhelming. And like I said, I like the UI, I like the way it looks. It lets me do exactly what I need to do without too much of a headache. And once I've done my work in Rhizome UV, I press save and Rhizome UV closes and it shoots my model straight back to C4D. So I will be sticking with Rhizome UV. It does everything that I need it to do and more. And like I said, the new UV tools in C4D S22 are definitely welcome. But I think they've got a way to go until they catch up. But that looks like the direction they're heading in. Something else that should be said about those UV tools as well. I read somewhere, I can't remember where, but it's been said that those UV implementations that they've now put in S22, they couldn't have put in earlier because it was dependent on core updates they did. So the fact that they've now, they've worked towards, they've been slowly updating the core in the last few versions and putting things in place. And the core updates they did with this version of S22 is exactly what's been able to facilitate these new UV tools being put in and implemented properly. So that should be noted. It's all very well going, oh, they should have been in 2 versions ago, but it might have been a technical issue where they couldn't without the core being changed. Okay, I'm just going to have a look at the chat again. Davo says, looking forward to R22 if it's stable. And he also says that he likes the enhancements they've added to S22. Michael Gardner, I know this is off topic. What's the best way to get objects to float on liquid in X particles, like an ice cube floating on top of cola or tea? Well, I can't tell you because I don't have X particles. And this is kind of why it's important for me to get your support for the YouTube videos, because what that allows me to do is put more time into the videos. It means that I have to do less commercial work and I can spend more time putting out videos and all that kind of stuff. But it also allows me to get more plugins and get more add-ins and all the stuff that you want me to cover as well. Because it's pretty hard when obviously this Michael wants me to have a look at X particles. I get other people wanting me to look at Octane, Redshift, you name it, any plugin under the sun. And as you can imagine, they don't come cheap when you add it all together. So at the moment, I'm having to pick what I do carefully. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't answer your question on that one, mate. Sweet. Michael says, will do. Oh, thank you. Appreciated. On contrary to guys above, I'm stuck with R19 and my Redshift maintenance expired a year ago. So just made myself late birthday gift and purchased S22 with Redshift and I love it. That's great. That's really good to hear. It's nice to hear that someone's enjoying it and yeah, that's cool. It's stable and super fast in Viewport and render times in Redshift are like 3 times faster now. Love it. Okay, that's really interesting because I'm getting a little bit of mixed feedback. Is anyone in the chat actually having issues with S22? I mentioned John Dickinson earlier. He was saying he's sticking with Rhizome and UV, but he's been using S22. He's got the subscription, and I think on his Twitter actually, he was saying that he was having some issues. So let me have a look at John's. Oh, yeah, this is him saying that he's sticking with Rhizome UV. I'm sure we're all familiar with EJ Hassanfratz. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. If not, sorry, EJ. But he did a poll. He says, what do you think to the update? You know, most people said it's a nice update, but then again, 16% of people said, I love LAMP. So do what you will with Rhizome UV. But he's been having issues with the stability of this. God, I'll find my words in a minute. S22. He's getting crashes with the edge slide tool when he tries to clone it. So when you hold control and slide an edge out with the slide tool, it's just shitting the bed and closing down by the looks of things for him. He thought it was an NVIDIA driver issue, but it appears that it's so he rolled his drivers back and it appears that it's still happening in places. He was having some Viewport weird behavior as well, like black screening out and like this, and not recognizing the SSD, SDS even. And he was having some issues with the line cut tool as well. So when he was making a cut, it wasn't snapping properly to the edge. I don't know if you guys can see that. What is it with Twitter videos? When you make them big, they don't just automatically go HD. You have to let them sort of run a little bit. There we go. Can you see it's creating an extra point here, which it shouldn't be doing? Oh, look, it's gone back to low quality again. There we go. So he's having a few issues there. So I don't know if anyone else is actually suffering from any of that stuff, but it would be interesting to know. Let's have another look at the chat. On the contrary, guys, oh yeah, I read that. It's stable, it's super fast in Viewport and 3D. Oh yeah, I've read that as well. I go C4D meetups where I live, and I'll let EJ know about this video. EJ is a great guy. He really does seem like a great guy, and his content's good as well. Yeah, nice bloke. It's a shame that I'm in the UK, and it seems like when it comes to sort of like meetups, like community gatherings in real life, and events as well, it seems to be all in America. So it'd be great if I could get out there at some point and actually, say hello to a few people and shake hands and have some nice conversations and maybe a drink. So yeah, that'd be good. So where else are we going to go with this? Yeah, we were talking about the UV tools, weren't we? Yeah, I think we pretty much wrapped up what I thought about the UV tools. Definitely a welcome addition. I'm gonna be sticking with Rhizome UV, and some pretty cool things are going to be coming. It's not like Rhizome are sitting on their hands either. So I'm sure they're working away in the background and have some nice things to come. Common Sense Made Simple says, America makes a great bacon double cheeseburger. I love bacon double cheeseburgers as well, man. Yes. Yes. I'll be piling that weight back on soon enough. There's stuff that you have over there that we don't have over here. I've always wanted to try one of those, is it White Castle burgers? Weird flattened square things. I just want to know what they taste like. EJ loves his craft beers as well. Well, he'd probably love it in England because we're mad for them over here. There's always little local beers popping up in local pubs all the time, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, he probably wants to get his butt over to England and Europe. Actually, they love it. So do the Germans. The Germans are all about their beers as well. Harvey's Burgers here in Canada. You guys are making me hungry. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't look like S22s without its problems, but this might be specific to John. So it'll be good to hear from a good selection of people how things are going. In fact, I need to check C4d Cafe later. That's something else you guys should check out. If you're not familiar with C4d Cafe, go there. It's a really good community, and you know, you can post up questions and topics and all that kind of stuff. You'll see my stuff there as well. Good bunch of people, and yeah, it's well worth checking out. But yeah, I might go and haunt the forums later and see what people are saying. I did have a quick look yesterday. Not too much there, but I'll check again. Ha ha ha. White Castle is delicious and dangerous. They call them sliders for a reason. Oh, okay. Always. Five Guys for the win. Always do. We actually have Five Guys in the UK. We have a Five Guys right near where I live, and it is good. I've got to be honest, it's great. Just curious, who here uses NVIDIA game drivers versus studio drivers? That is an interesting question, actually. And Carson Jones says S22 is good here. Redshift 3.0.17. Well, the general consensus in the chat seems to be that S22 is good, and they're not having any problems. So maybe those problems are specific to John, and you know, it's just bad luck, really. So who knows? Let me get back to our. I actually use the game drivers, and I use them for a specific reason. Although I could actually manually go to the website and find the studio drivers, but the game drivers seems to be working fine for me. Now, the reason I'm using the game drivers is because I've got NVIDIA Experience installed. Now, I know a lot of you in the chat are going to be going, "Oh God, why have you done that?" I actually quite like it. I find it quite useful. And the reason I've got it installed is because I use NVIDIA Shadow Play to record my tutorials, actually. It's really efficient, and you get a nice big clean video, not a very big size, which is quite nice. And then when they updated Experience, let's see, might have been a month ago, they broke it. So obviously when I when I make tutorials, I need you guys to see my cursor. And when they did the update, they made it so the cursor wasn't visible anymore. So I sat there recording a tutorial, and then when I watched it back, I went, "There's no cursor. There's no bloody cursor." So what I had to do was, I actually had to go find an older version of Experience, NVIDIA GeForce Experience. I had to find the version back from the one they just updated and reinstall that. And then I also had to change some files within it to stop it from updating, because it does an automatic update. It automatically goes, "Oh yeah, I'll update for you." No, I don't want you to update for me, because I don't want to update to the latest shitty version. So yeah, I rolled back and blocked it from updating. And it seems like in the new one, you had the option of downloading game drivers and studio drivers. And in the one that I rolled back to, you didn't have that option. You could just download drivers. And I think they're the game drivers. So, yeah. So I'm using game drivers. They seem to be working fine with R21 for me at the moment. Everyone's saying game drivers in the chat by the looks of things. Apparently, Davo says he had to use the studio drivers because the game drivers break my Octane. Okay. Everyone else in the chat is saying game drivers, game drivers, game drivers. Yeah, normal drivers because of Unreal 4. Yeah, okay. Cool. I don't game. Should I switch from studio to game drivers? Well, it depends. I mean, if you're not having any problems with the drivers you're using, well then what does it matter? Unreal 4 was incomparable for the GeForce Ansel. Okay, right. Made simple if you're not having problems. I wouldn't switch. Yeah, I agree completely. And Neon22 says he's with the old driver. Okay. Sweet. Okay, let's talk about the other side of the S22. And this is going to be the uncomfortable side of S22, because as far as I can see, everything they've put in it is welcome. The UV tools are welcome. I mean, why would any new feature or upgrade be unwelcome, really, unless it was pointless or broken or whatever? And it looks like everything in here is fine. Like I said, I want to get my hands on these modelling tools, but I can't. And this is what we're going to talk about now. This is what we're going to talk about now, the uncomfortable part. I'm an MSA guy. Well, I'm a perpetual license holder, and I have been for some years now. And I renewed my MSA as I'd done in previous years. I'd renewed it last year in July. No, was it July or August? Well, it doesn't matter. What I remember is it was just before they announced the subscription model that I renewed my MSA. So I'm still on an MSA now, and I haven't got access to S22, obviously, because I'm not on the subscription. And I've got to be honest, it leaves a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. There are people that have been loyal sort of perpetual license holders for a number of years now, and now they're being told that subscription holders are going to get new features releases 5 to 6 months before perpetual license holders. Kind of puts a little bit of a fly in the ointment, kind of leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth. And I've got to be honest, when this was announced, I was like, for fuck's sake, I weren't too impressed, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, what does everyone else think of that? I mean, a lot of you seem like you're on S22, so you probably don't care. But are there any people on are still on? They're not on the subscription. Are there any people in the chat that are still on a perpetual license? I mean, I for one. Let's see. Carson Jones says the solution is that if you're on subscription and you cancel it after 1 year, then you can keep using the last version you had before cancelling, at least until a Windows update breaks it. Are you saying that if I've got a subscription and then I just let it lapse or don't resubscribe, I can still carry on using the last version of Cinema 4D that I was subscribed to? Because I don't think that's the case. I don't think that is the case. The whole point of the subscription is when you open up Cinema 4D, whether you're on R21 or S20, whether you're on the subscription or not, you have to log into your Maxon account. And then when you do that, it checks your account for a license. And if it sees a subscription license, it goes, great, fire C4D up. And if it doesn't see a license there, it goes, well, you get the, it'll probably say, you got the 30-day trial or whatever it is. So, yeah, there we go. Davo says, cannot use if don't pay subscription. Yeah, that's the whole point of subscription. And this is why I don't want to upgrade to subscription. So I'm a perpetual license holder. And what that means is it's mine perpetually, forever, for the rest of my life. Okay, so I'm a perpetual license holder of C4D R21, and I'll be able to use R21 for the rest of time. Okay, that's it. It's as easy as that. But if you're on a subscription and you'd stop paying your subscription, well then you can't carry on using the last version of C4D you had. You're not paying the subscription anymore. You're renting your software. It's never yours. And that's my issue. And with this S22 update, like I said, all the feature stuff and all of that stuff's great. But talking specifically about the model that they're, the subscription model, it's, yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, look, put it this way. This is the timeline of your typical perpetual license holder. Okay, so let's skip back a few years. You're a new customer. You come up, hello, Baxon. I'd like a copy of Cinema 4D. Sure, you can have one. Which tier would you like? Tier? Yeah, well, you can either choose Prime or Broadcast or Studio. Well, I'm going to want all the features in there. I don't want anything to be missing, so I better go for Studio then. Okay, that's going to be $3,500. Okay, 3.5 grand. Ooh. Okay, there you go. There's your money. Okay, so I'll take you 3.5 grand. There's your Cinema 4D. If you want to keep that up to date, so that's yours forever. Okay, but if you do want to make sure that you can update to the next version, you're going to have an MSA. That's a max on service agreement. Okay, so you bought Cinema 4D, you get the MSA for a year anyway, and if any updates happen within that period, you'll get it. But when your MSA runs out, you probably want to renew it if you want to keep up to date. Oh, also you get Cineversity as well. It's an online place where you can go and get loads of videos and stuff like that, and that's included in what you've just bought. Great. So I've got C4D, Cineversity, and I've just got to pay me MSA to make sure it's up to date. How much is the MSA? It's about 600 quid, I think it was at the time, way back. Okay, so 3.5 grand and then 600 quid a year on top of that, and I get Cineversity. Great. Okay, cool. Skip forward a little bit. Oh, we put the MSA up. Oh, okay. Well, inflation and all that, I suppose. Times change and you've got to do that. Skip forward again. Hey everybody, we're releasing a subscription service, and yeah, you don't have to pay the entry level fee of 3.5 grand anymore. You can just pay the, I don't know, 700 quid a year or whatever the subscription model is. Okay, so subscriptions are cheaper. Okay, and even though I had to fork out 3.5 grand to be in that exclusive club of studio users, subscriber users can just walk into it now. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, and by the way, we're taking away Cineversity from perpetual license holders, and we're giving it to subscription holders. Oh, good. Okay. Anything else? Yep. You can upgrade your perpetual license, but now it's £1,000. Oh, it's £1,000. Good. Ooh, lucky me. So you've taken shit away from me, and I've got to pay more for it. Brilliant. Good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was joking with my friend the other day. I said, I swear to God, there must be a room at Maxon where there's a table that people sit around, and their job is to dream up new ways to tell perpetual license holders to jog on. You know what I mean? I don't know. Carson Jones says, solid rant here, definitely justified feelings about it. I should say, on top of all of that, it's their company. They can do whatever they like with it. It's their business. They can do whatever they like with it. And if they want that kind of model, well, then they're allowed to choose that kind of model. No one tells me how to run my business, and I wouldn't expect to tell them how to run theirs. But whether it's going to alienate people, or there might be a segment of their customer base that may be turning away. I don't know. We'll have to see what the future. But saying that, even if it does turn a segment of their customer base away, their subscription could be opening up a whole new customer base that will fill that gap. So look at the chat. Sorry, I've lost my place. I'm just silent. That's no good for a stream, is it? I'll take studio, please. Oh yeah, that was when I was doing my little bit of acting there. Okay, good. It worked that way too with algorithmic substance perpetual too, but not anymore since November, thanks to Adobe. They changed it to sub. It's really funny actually, because when Dave McGovern came in as CEO for Maxon on C4D Cafe, I forgot who it was, but there was a guy. Because Dave McGovern is ex Adobe, I think. I think he was upper management in Adobe at one point. And a guy in the forum said he's an ex Adobe employee. Countdown to subscription in 3, 2, and then we all laughed about it. And then 6 months later, ta-da! So what else have we got there? Sorry, I'm losing my place in my chat. Oh, here we go. Right. Why the heck isn't Substance included in Adobe CC license bundle? You'll have to ask Adobe about that, I'm afraid, mate. I was told that there would be no more MSA. You're right, there is no more MSA, but there is an upgrade path, because basically what they said was you can have a perpetual license, but there's no MSA. C4D Cafe lit up with a few people going, what the hell? I don't want to rent my software. I want to own it. I want to keep a perpetual license. Excuse me. And I'd like there to be an upgrade path. So there was a few rumblings about it. And in the end, they said, okay, we're going to do an upgrade path for perpetual license holders, but it's not going to be advertised. You'll have to ask your local Maxon vendor about it, and then they can talk you through it. But the long and short of it is it's going to be $1,000. And it's like, right, okay. So yeah, you're right. The MSA is no more. I'm still on the MSA because I bought one last year when it was still, active. It was still being sold, and obviously you have your MSA for a year. So when that runs out, I'll no longer have access to Cineversity. Thanks, and I'll have to think about what I'm going to do. I've got two options basically. I can either, well, let's go through the chat before I get into that. I use C4D for work, and that covers my annual subscription. When work no longer covers it, I'll use Blender 2.8. Do you know what? It's a bit more difficult for me because I run a C4D based website and YouTube channel. There's no reason I can do other tutorials, I suppose, but just because the model that they're selling I'm not keen on doesn't mean that I don't like the software anymore, because it is a great piece of software. It's always been stable. It's always been really intuitive in terms of the UI and all that stuff. And yeah, I like it. I like it. I just don't like this side of things, Okay, so because they bought out Algorithmic less than 9 months ago. Oh yeah, he's answering someone else's question, Daniel's question. Well, I hope that changes. Solid rant here, definitely. Oh shit, I've lost my place again. Definitely justified feelings about it. Okay. It seems to be a fad with a big business, says Neon22. Yeah, you're right. There seems to be a lot of companies going this way. And I think it's to do with the way I was brought up as well. Like, if I wanted something, you saved up for it until you could get it. You didn't borrow money, or you worked hard, saved up, and then you got it, and it was yours. And yes, I got there. And this doesn't feel like that. I like Houdini's platform with offering an indie license for a very affordable price. Yes, I like that as well. Davo says, yeah, they've messed around with us for sure. Yeah, if they would have offered perpetual license, I shouldn't be sitting here just reading the stream out, I've got to be honest, but I kind of want to know your guys' thoughts. I want to get the sort of general consensus of, well, I was going to say the community then, but at least my viewers, If they would have offered, Daniel says, if they would have offered perpetual license holders a 1-year discount for new subscriptions, I would have done it. But as far as I know, they didn't offer a discount. They did offer a discount. I think if you were on a perpetual license, they said you could convert your perpetual license to a subscription. And don't quote me on this, but I think it was 20% off. I might be wrong about that. It might have been more, but they did offer a discount if you switched over to subscription. But in my opinion, it's just not worth it, because once you've switched your perpetual license over, you're switching, so you no longer have a perpetual license anymore, just a subscription. And if at any point you cancel that subscription, you've got no copy of Cinema 4D to fall back on. So that 20% or whatever the discount was, it wouldn't matter if it was 80% in my view, it wouldn't be enough. Because, I mean, these are my choices. These are basically my choices. I can either convert my license into a subscription, not doing that, or what I could do is go down the perpetual license upgrade path and pay them £1,000. Pay them £1,000 to update my perpetual license. £1,000 a year. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Or what I could do is keep my perpetual license, no matter what happens, that's mine forever, and just start a new subscription. Instead of converting my current license into a subscription, I'll just start a whole new subscription license. And then I've got the best of both worlds. If at any point I want to let my subscription lapse, or I go, nah, it's not worth it this year, or I don't know, I've always got my perpetual just sitting in the wings. And obviously that's only going to be as useful as long as R21 is going to be useful in terms of sort of where it is in the industry, its capabilities and stuff. But I think it's still going to be useful for a good few years yet. So I'm quite tempted to keep my perpetual and maybe sign up a brand new subscription, not convert. Okay, the new CEO is an ex-Adobe executive, correct? As far as I'm aware, I think so, yeah. Yes, at Daniel, yes. Okay, so Common Sense Made Simple is confirming that. Yeah, it's paying the devs. It's paying the devs. Well, I'm not against that. Obviously they need to be paid, and they do great work, to be fair to them as well. Like, you know, like I said before, C4D is my top boy, really. It's intuitive and it's stable for the most part, and you can't ask more than that, really. Well, you can, but yeah, I love it. CJ Adams says, and costing about as much as Maint. I think he means maintenance, yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Just trying to scroll through the chat, and it always jumps around when you get near the bottom. It jumps to the bottom, which is really annoying. I'll have a look at it in this window. Okay. Maxon seems to be positioning themselves to be bought out by Adobe. Don't say that, please don't. You've seen that meme where it's basically Death holding a sickle, and let's get the other screen on, because we're not looking at anything interesting anymore, are we? My big head. Yeah, that meme where it's Adobe knocking at the door of, like, you know, all the shit that is killed pretty much, and there's blood leaking out the bottom. Yeah, I got a new subscriber for Dax Studio. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah. Please don't let that happen. I just like how bad After Effects updates are. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't happened already, Daniel says. Well, you know, don't joke about this, guys. Well, I don't think you're joking, but oh god, that could be on the cards, can it? I doubt it very much. Maxon are owned by, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is it Namesteck or something like that? And they're a pretty big company, I think. So there'd be no reason to go to Adobe. Fingers crossed. So, you know. CJ Adams says, let's face it, C4D was one of the most expensive DCC apps for Perpetual, so good riddance. Yeah, maybe. It's maybe because I had to, maybe I'm feeling sore about it because I had to do that initial buy-in, you know, where I had to cough up $3,500 and then pay the MSA every year. So, you know, I've invested quite a lot of money into that system. and then for them to just scrap it and go, oh, you can just walk through the door and pay 700 quid. It's like, hold on a minute, I pay thousands for this. Maybe that's why it leaves a bit of a bad taste, maybe. And I get it, times move on. Maybe this is a better business model for them in terms of how they're, you know, doing business. So there's all different kinds of sides to this story, and I don't want to seem like I'm having a right old moan up, but I had to have my little, you know, I'm probably saying what quite a lot of people are thinking, in terms of the perpetual license holders, at least. Okay, let's have a look. Sorry, I keep losing myself in the chat. I hope they're not bought by Adobe as much as I love Adobe products. Blah, blah, blah. If you're a freelancer, etc., just take it off your taxes. Yeah, oh, don't you worry. I will be doing. I'm looking forward to your Houdini to C4D tutorials. Yes, so we'll be getting into that as soon as I can. I'm so glad I bought it when I did. Substance perpetual on the site. I think the Steam Indie Edition is still perpetual for now. Well, that's good to know. Okay, wonder if the pandemic will hit income streams and drop in subscriptions, though. Yeah, I should imagine it would, actually, at least new ones during this time period. I think every part of the industry is going to be seeing a hit there. Oh, before I go on, for the people that joined the stream halfway through, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm doing a giveaway this stream. So if you want to be part of that, the giveaway is for a license for Rhizome UV. So how you can enter this is email me at sam@digitalmeet.uk or use the contact page on digitalmeet.uk and just send me an email. In the header, just put Rhizome UV, and the body can be anything you like. Something like gimme, gimme, gimme. That'll do. And then I'll pick a random person at the end. So I just thought I'd reiterate that again, because there might be some of you here that have missed that part of it. Okay, so yeah. Let's have a look. Yearly upgrade price without the initial $205,000 outlay. Yeah, okay. But with Thai R21 become obsolete, that's the thing. Of course, you can do your job, but it might not be compatible with the most recent Octane or Redshift and so on. Yeah, you're right. Although I think Redshift and Octane typically make sure their, you know, stuff goes backwards. I don't know how far, but yeah. Okay. Exactly. People talking about 3ds Max and Maya. Oh, goddamn this chat. Sorry, I'm just moaning about the chat page jumping around. Okay, so let's try and get through these so I get to the bottom. More and more Blender is looking like the way to go. Well, that's the other option as well, isn't it? Just go, okay, well, I'm not going to get the subscription. I'm going to stick with R21 until it runs out of its usefulness or is no longer fit for purpose, and then jump ship. So there could be a few people doing that as well. Time. Does subscription prevent piracy possibility? There's someone who is sub to C4, Houdini Indie, X Particles, C4 Cycles 4D, and Adobe. Now Red Giant is offering subscription too. Yeah, I feel subscription is the future. Subs are the future, and yes, does stop piracy. Yeah, so that'll be another reason why they're doing it, and fair play to them, to be honest. Yeah, oh yeah, let's address that in a minute. Actually, I'll just get to the bottom of these chats. Just make sure I've covered everyone's. Don't know about in the UK, but in the US we can just take it as an expense against our profit on taxes. Yeah, we can do that. Yes, I can. So at least I can write that off or as a tax write down or whatever. So that's good. But some people don't have that option. Some people are buying Cinema 4D just to learn and whatever. And I suppose that's who the subscriptions are aimed at, because it's cheaper. is good for them. But some people might not be writing off tax because they're not using it to make money or whatever, you know. Or they've got a business and C4D isn't part of it. They just picked it up and they want to look into it, maybe. But, you know, love C4D too, but I'm winking my eye to Blender. Okay. I use both. Sometimes the 45 steps in Houdini I can do in 5 using X particles. Depends on the job. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we've got a few people speaking between themselves now, so that's good. Oh, this is nice. It's quite an active chat for this stream, which is really nice. Okay, so just people speaking amongst each other. Made simple. Common sense made simple. Thank you. I won't give up. I'm prepared for a long, painful road, maybe a couple of years, but seems worth it in the long run, doesn't it? That tax write-offs, from what I understand, it's not 100% off. It's more like 60. In the UK, you can write all of it off. If it's an expense for your business, you can write most of it off, I think, or at least a large proportion of it. Yeah. Okay. I hate to do this, guys, and I normally time my streams a little bit better than this, but can you give me maybe 30 seconds? I need to go use the little boys' room quick. I've drank too much coffee, and that's probably too much information. But if you give me 30 seconds, or, well, it's probably going to be a little bit more than that, I'll pop back. Can't post URL, sadly. No, YouTube blocks them by default. I don't know if that's something I can turn off. I will look into it for you. Yes, you can, tax-wise, UK. Okay, cool. Anyway, I'll stop jibber-jabbering about the chat, and I'll be back in, you know, a minute. Literally, give me a minute. Thanks for waiting, guys. I'm back. I'm still here, and good. Yeah, you seem to be all active in the chat, which is really nice to see. You're all having a discussion about this between yourselves. I was worried a little bit because I talked about the subscription stuff before in my last chat, and I'm doing it again. And I don't want to be a broken record, and I certainly don't want to. Certainly don't want to have a right old moan up. In general, because it's not that simple. There's good points and there's bad points. Well, not bad points, but points that I don't find particularly great, and that's because of the position because I'm a perpetual license holder. But this is great for people that have just walked in and gone, right, I want a copy of C4D. Great, there we go, I'll have it. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, man. It is really swings and roundabouts. So I suppose now, I mean, I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover. I wanted to tell you about the updates to the site and have a chat about the subscription stuff and the, well, S22. From what I can tell, like, I really want to get my hands on these tools. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I can't until September by the looks of things. So that kind of puts a spanner in the works for me. I'm not sure if I can download a demo, actually. I'm not sure if you can do that if you've already got a license of any kind, or maybe I can try it out. I'm not sure. If I can, I will, and maybe I'll make some videos and cover some of my likes about the modelling tools. That's what I want to get my hands on, those modelling tools, and have a look at some of those features. Like I said, UV tools, welcome feature, but I'm not too bothered because of Rhizome. So should be able to download demo. Yeah. Do you know how long the demo lasts? Is it like a 30-day deal or something like that? I mean, I should have looked into this before the stream, but I've got to be honest, I've been knee-deep in back-end web stuff over the last sort of month. So, latest X Particles beta, for example, is amazing. It's out publicly now too. Amazing tools in the Maxon C4D ecosystem. I will, excuse me, have to look into getting that. Something else I should mention as well. I can't say too much, but I'm in talks with certain plugin creators, developers, and you'll be seeing plugins for sale on my site at a discount as well. I can't reveal what those plugins are yet. I need to finalize everything. But sorry, I'm rubbing my hands together. You must be able to hear that. So yeah, you'll be seeing plugins going up on the store on my site with some discounts there for my users. And I mean, yeah, so that's something that's in the works. And I've got some other bits and bobs in the works. But again, I can't really say too much because I want to make sure everything's nailed down before I start blurting it out to the world. So yeah. Kirsten from Rhizome is in the chat, which is great, and she says Rhizome has a 30-day demo, so if you want to go try Rhizome out, go do it, which is good. So yeah, I think I've covered everything I pretty much want to say. Does anyone in the chat have any questions? And maybe we can go through some and talk about that. Subs are the future, and yes, it does stop privacy, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, I've gone right back up the chat there. Looking forward to getting Demearth plugin for R20 soon. Question to group: C4D plugins you use on almost every project. Well, there's a couple that I've actually got in my taskbar. I've set up as buttons. And let's open C4D up. RealFlow is quite a good one. Like I said earlier, because there's so many plugins and stuff out there, I have to be careful what I choose to get. And like I said, you know, people come at me all the time going, oh, can you do loads of tutorials on Redshift? Or, oh, can you do loads of tutorials on this? And I just can't afford to buy every plugin in the world. So if you want to support Digital Meat, you know where to go. Donate page, Patreon, all of that stuff. So it'll open those doors and I can cover more subjects. But yeah, I decided to get RealFlow because that looked really interesting to me. I'd used RealFlow in the past, and I'd used it as a standalone. So when they sort of said, oh, we're sort of rolling it into C4D, I thought, now that is interesting. I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with how quickly it ran, and you know, you press the play button, you just simulate, and it's like, wow, this is pretty impressive, man. So yeah, RealFlow is something that I use quite often. I've got a demo here of Redshift. If anyone was wondering why I got Redshift in there, it's not the full version. In fact, I think I've got a Redshift view. No, I haven't set that up in this version of, or did I? Redshift, there we go. Yeah, so I've got a view here, and as you can see, when I hit play, it's got the, you know, it's a demo. So I was just trying to get my head around that and make sure I'm up to speed. And hopefully when I can drop some cash on it, I can start doing a load of tutorials and stuff. Something else I use very, very often is this drop to floor plugin, which is now Python based. So that's super useful. And so if I make a thing like this, let's get the grid on. It's just nice to make it sit on the floor. You just hit that button and it puts it at, you know, its outer extremities at 0. So that's nice and useful. And the quad remesher as well is is a bit of a godsend. And of course, we've got the Rhizome bridge here that goes and opens up Rhizome. In fact, I need to make sure this is up to date. I can't remember the last time I updated it, actually. Naughty boy. You'll notice now you can move this as well, which is really handy. So if you want a bigger workspace for whatever window, because that used to be locked dead center, but they've made it so you can move it, which is very welcome. So that's cool. Yeah, the chat is moving fast, man. Okay, let's see what everyone else uses then. Oh shit! I just realised that you couldn't see my screen. I'm an idiot. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, when I was talking about the drop to floor thing, I was talking about this. So when you create an object, you can hit this button, the drop to floor button, and it puts it dead on the floor. And obviously the quad remesher, that's super useful. You can remesh, say what you want your poly count to be. You can remesh an object and it will do this. Whereas before it was that, it will remesh it in quads. And what I was saying about Rhizome was this. Before this version that I've got, I'm not sure if I've updated it because I'm a naughty boy. Yeah, they let you resize this window now, which I'm super happy about. Anyway, yeah, so let me get back to the chat. And then I think what we'll do is wrap up. We'll announce the winner of the Rhizome UV license. Oh, I'm displaying my Streamlabs there. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the chat. What's everyone else saying? And have we got any more questions? Shit, you guys are going like the clappers. Mason bought Redshift. I think Maxon is going its own way. Maybe they buy Pixelogic. Who knows? Who knows? About tax write-offs. Yeah, we're talking about tax write-offs. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I found where we got to now. GPU rendering versus Rhizome Threadripper. Well, they're not the same thing. I've got a Rhizome Threadripper. I've got the first iteration. So I've got a 1950X. And they're coming out with a new one every year by the looks of things. So I'm behind now. And it's like, damn it. But yeah, what I might do, because I GPU-wise, I've only got one 1080 Ti in my machine. And I think for GPU rendering, if you want it to be useful and you want to, you know, pack your scenes with complex lighting and, you know, stuff like that, probably need a little bit more power. What I'd actually like is two 2080 Ti's, but I'm not made of money. I haven't got a money tree. So, you know, on top of the plugins and all that stuff. So, yeah, but I'm thinking maybe Corona Render might be a way to go, because I'm pretty sure that that's CPU based. And it looks pretty good. Maybe Arnold's a look as well. So, yeah. So, but they're completely different. GPU rendering is always going to be faster, I think, because it can do lots of things parallel. So that's why you get those, you know, those viewer windows where, you know, they start off the viewer window and you can move around your scene and it just resolves really quick in a matter of seconds. And you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. But I'll have to give Corona Render a run around the block, because from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. And so it might be worth... I think that's got a viewer window as well. And from what I can tell, it's pretty fast. So I'll have to have a look at that and test it out. Let's have a look. Okay. Sorry, I keep losing my place in the chat because it keeps moving. I'm really sorry, guys. I'll have to put slow mode on at some point. Okay, so we've got HDR link Rhizome here. That's Carson Jones, so he uses HDRI link. X particles and turbulence FD. Excellent. Turbulence for the win there. Anyone using Arnold GPU regularly? Oh, it's Arnold supporting GPU now. So does it do both? Is it a mix like a CPU and GPU? That's good. How's it compared to Redshift? I know they used that Arnold on, was it Arnold that they used for Birdman? I can't remember. But yeah, it seems like a lot of big film companies use Arnold quite regularly. And I think it's because it's totally unbiased, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, okay, goodbye. What soft are you using for streaming and your tutorials? I'm using NVIDIA Shadowplay to record my tutorials. For my streams, I'm using Streamlabs OBS. It's actually quite a neat little package, makes things nice and simple. Let's have a look. I acquired the 32-core 3rd gen Threadripper and never touched Redshift again. I would need 4 RTX 2070s to match this render speeds. I'm well gel, as they say. The 32 core. I've got a 16 core, so it's actually 32 threads, but 32 cores. That's 64 logical processors. Ooh, sexy. Don't sweat, I have Redshift and Octane demo as well. Yeah, says Biohazard Studios. I will get there. I will get there in the end. That's what I've been wondering. Okay. Yeah, drop to floor all the time. Yeah, it's a great little plugin. I mean, it's simple and it does something really simple. And it does something that I could do just by, you know, looking at it and working out. But it's just really handy just to go bang, press a button, it's done. If I want something sat on the floor. What I'd really like is an option to determine what the floor is, because obviously it just whacks it at 0 every time. But say you make a 2-story house or something like that, you could set the bottom floor at 0 and go bang with drop to floor. That's fine, but it'd be even better if what you could say is determine what object sets the floor. So maybe drag up the plane of the second floor into a field, and that determines where the floor is. So every time you hit drop to floor after that, it goes up to that new floor. So say you're trying to populate the second floor of a house with furniture or something like that, you can just bang, bang, bang. All that furniture just goes to that place. That'd be cool. What else have we got? People just chatting. Arnold looks so nice to use. It did, actually. Well, I say it did because I looked at it quite a while ago now. And I thought maybe you could dismiss it largely because Redshift and Octane seem to be the big boys in the room. Although, from speaking to people, Octane suffers a lot from what I've heard. I don't know. I can't just say from personal experience, but people have issues with, you know, a few crashes, bugs. It's not as stable as they'd like. And in that regard, Redshift seems to be a bit more solid. But again, I can't comment too much. What else have we got? And the elephant in the room is the Redshift purchase. Yeah, yes. I do more animation and less modeling though. Yeah, okay. Kirsten says, I've used Corona since it came out for Mac somewhere in 14. I love it. Fast and really good renders. Okay, well, I think that might have sold it for me. Kirsten's opinion actually counts for a lot in my book. So, yeah, that's cool. He's running a TR3970X here and 3 GTX 1080s. Looking at Arnold CPU, GPU combo to take advantage. Sid says, yes, Birdman did use Arnold. Okay, cool. I wasn't just making things up. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. I'm rendering right now. Every day, rendering. Every day, I'm rendering. Arnold is great. It has an amazing tune features. That's interesting. That's definitely worth taking a look at. To add, Corona has real-time window and you can move around. Not as fast as Octane, but good enough. Well, that's the thing. You just need an idea of your lighting, and when you change materials, you know, get a pretty fast update and you're kind of halfway there. New node system in Redshift is great in C4D. Cool. But with Arnold, it's a switch, correct? Either use CPU or GPU, not both. Okay. Is that the same for other renderers like, I don't know, V-Ray or Arnold or, sorry, not Arnold, you know, other hybrid renderers? Is it one or the other, not both? I suppose they calculate in different ways, so it'd be hard to actually resolve an image using two different methods of sort of getting there. Maybe I don't know. I'll have a look at that and be better prepared for the next stream, and maybe we can look into that and talk about it. Maybe something else I've been thinking about for the streams as well is actually maybe getting a guest on, either a 3D artist, and maybe talk to them about their experiences. Someone works in the industry, and just have a chat about them, their history, how they got to where they were, and maybe have a look at some of their work. That could be a good idea. Okay, cool. I think we've got to the end of the road in terms of this stream now. I don't know how long I've been streaming, an hour and a half. That's not a bad go, and I don't want it to get boring. So what I'm going to do is let's switch back to, sorry, keep leaving it on screens that it shouldn't be on. I've got to get used to being a bit more proactive at looking at my streaming software. Okay, so let's pick a winner. Let's pick a winner for the Rhizome UV giveaway, shall we? Okay. Big fan, great stream, thanks. Most of my professional work is boring and corporate, unfortunately. A lot of mine was for 10 years, and it fell under NDA. So I couldn't show it to anyone because, well, I can't even say who we were doing the work for. So, yeah, no one ever saw it apart from who it was for and the people that worked within the organisation that it went to. So that was good. So, yeah, I did a lot of work over the last 10 years that I couldn't put anywhere. Most of my, let's see, good stuff. Nice stream, man. Whoops, I didn't send email. More fool you. First time tuning in, had fun. Thank you, Daniel. That's much appreciated. Yes, same here. Good. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the messages. And I've got your mails now as well, so there's no escaping me. Daniel says agreed. I've signed so many NDAs, I don't think I'm allowed to leave my house. You ain't now. Always informative. Thank you very much. Hi all C4D team. Form Republica Dominicans. Oh, from the Dominican Republic. Okay, got you. I got there in the end. Most of my work is rudimentary, but I still love being an animator. Excellent stuff. Okay, so let's announce a winner for this thing then, and I think we are gonna just scroll through, and the winner of the Rhizome UV giveaway is Daniel Odom. So Daniel, well done. That's so weird that you were one of the last people to chat in the chat, and you actually got chosen at random for the Rhizome UV giveaway. So you've got a year's license to Rhizome UV, and I'll be emailing you shortly about how we can get that to you. Okay, so cheers for joining me for the stream, guys. I really appreciate it. I think someone in the chat also asked when my next tutorial is coming out. That'll be tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a tutorial about a magic door effect. In fact, I can show you now. Let me just grab it. Instagram. So yeah, I'll be recording this tomorrow, and it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. Let's pull up my Instagram. Oh, I can't. Bear with me a sec. It's because I'm in incognito mode, so it's not letting me view something in Instagram. I have to actually be signed in, I think. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Good stuff. Nice stream, man. Congratulations at Daniel Odom. Congratulations. Awesome, Daniel says. So he's happy about his Rhizome UV license there. Rhizome is awesome. Good stream, dude. Blah, blah. I will stop reading the chat in a minute because we've got to go. Yeah. Also, congrats on being the second best Daniel in the stream, says Daniel Katz. Lol. Keck, as they say. Okay, so let's have a look at this Instagram post real quick. In fact, let's make it super big. Okay, so this is the tutorial that I'm going to be doing tomorrow, and it's basically this magic window effect. Now, this in itself, you're probably looking at this going, well, it's not too special. I can just object buffer it out and composite. But this I actually achieved within Cinema 4D without any external compositing at all. It's all done within the program with some nice little trickery going on. So this is just a straight render out of C4D. I didn't do any trickery in post or anything like that. So I'll be recording a tutorial about that tomorrow, and it should be up tomorrow as well. So thanks for watching, guys. I really and just having a look at the nice features that are in S22. It looks promising. The UV tools look promising. But saying that, go check out Rhizome UV. Okay, cool. I'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.